Hi everyone and welcome to my Unfiltered 20s.
A podcast about the ups and downs, highs and lows, and realities of life in your 20s.
With me, Abbey Parker.
And me, Lucy Martin. This week, we thought we would talk about something that I think a lot of people our age, or of all ages to be honest, experience. We're going to talk about dealing with rejection, imposter syndrome, struggling to feel like you have to keep up with everyone else our age. I think in your 20s it's like a time where there's a lot of pressure to have to get a good job, get your dream job, get a house, get a car. I feel like it's like a pressure to a race almost to get it. We're going to talk about that and just a general casual chat. So Abby, how was your week?
It was good. It was just trying to get back into the swing of uni. I still feel like it's like day 2 of the term. Do you know what I mean? But we're in week 2. It's weird, isn't it? Because you go from the holidays or whatever, and you're like, I have a few things to do, but I can do them whenever. To suddenly I've got a seminar at this time, and I need to be there for it. And it's like, even though it was only a month, it's only a month we had off. It feels like forever, and I'm like, I don't even remember how to do this.
I know.
Term thing.
I feel like it's weird because normally we'd have certain things on certain days, so it would feel more like time was sort of longer, and we'd have events, so there'd be a thing on Friday, a thing on Wednesday, whatever. But then now it's just every day just blends into one, so it's how is it already second week? Yeah.
It gets hard to differentiate weekday, weekend. When should I be chilling? When should I be working?
Yeah, exactly.
All the reading. God, don't talk to me about reading. Let me tell you, I sat down to do some reading the other day.
Proud of you.
Thank you. I did 3 pages out of 100 and then was like, I'm going to call it there. I was like, you know what, I'm sure there's some kind of video I can watch instead.
It's daunting though when you know you've got so much, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm trying to with my disc spread out over the week certain bits of the reading, certain perspectives and whatever, and then I'm just at the start of the week wow, I've got all this seminar reading to do, all this reading for these essays coming up, and then all this reading for my disc, and it's just you look at it every day oh my god, I've got so much to do today, and it makes it worse.
Yeah, I know. And then when lectures take more, if they take more than I'm expecting them to, I'm like, oh god. It's because with the asynchronous ones, they're all split up, right? So I'll have a little 5-minute intro, then a 10-minute, then another 10-minute. And then when I then turn on the third video or whatever it is, and it's 25 minutes, I literally work hard. I'm just I gotta quit. I can't do it. Because I'm expecting 10-minute segments, I'm like, oh, there are only 6 videos. I'll be done in an hour. And then there's a 30-minute video. I'm like, oh no, if they're all like this from now on.
I think I haven't, because I don't have lectures this year, so I think I would find it really hard to motivate myself to sit through lectures. I used to find it hard enough when they're in person, because I used to get so bored and just think oh, okay, we've only got 15 minutes there, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes, it is boring just to sit there and have to take in information, isn't it? That is at least the good thing with seminars, is that you actually contribute, so the time goes quicker, I suppose.
I mean, the woman that was coughing, still coughing. She's over the cold, she's still coughing. So that's fun. And she talks really slowly, so I put it on 1.5 speed, and then it's actually okay. But sometimes I'm like, maybe I should just listen to it at normal speed, because then I wouldn't have to pause to catch up on writing. Because there'll be 5 minutes where I don't have to write anything, because she's talking so and about something irrelevant, and then suddenly she'll say 10 really important things all at once, and I'm like, oh, I've got to pause now. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have it on increased speed. But then also I'm like, yeah, but then mentally I'm like, well, I'm getting through this quicker than everyone else.
Yeah. My
boyfriend watches everything, all YouTube videos on 2 times speed, and it's too fast for my brain to keep up. He's like, do you want me to slow it down? I'm like, yeah, actually. You're saying it to me back, but yes, I do.
I did try this. I can't remember what I was going to watch on Netflix, but they've just introduced the thing, haven't they, where you can watch it at a certain speed. Because you know me, I'm a skipper, aren't I? And then I was like, oh, I'll give this a go. But It doesn't hit the same. It's just like there's
Mm-hmm.
not the like atmospheric pauses and stuff. Like you need that, and then when it's sped up, it's just like
Yeah, I can't do that. But lectures, it's okay because I'm not invested in the characters.
I think that's what I've been finding because I've been watching Married at First Sight Australia. It's on
Mm.
every day at 7:30 on E4, and I never watch anything on TV. Like I can't remember the last time I watched something that was actually on TV, but I look forward to it every day. I'm like, oh yeah, gotta watch that at 7:30. But you can't skip it obviously because it's on TV.
Mm.
So I just find it so tedious because there's an advert like every 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's tedious. So sometimes I'm like, well, I'll leave it later because you can, like you said, there's ways of like skipping it on 4OD and stuff, and it doesn't feel as long.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. Great program. It's proper like good drama. Like I feel like a lot of it is set up. So
But of
you know
course.
the premise of it. Basically, just like two people get married and they've never met. Like they meet on the day, and then every like week in the experiment on the Saturday they have like a dinner party, so they all get together, and basically it's just like everything kicks off, like people are going out with other people's wives and stuff. Like it's great. Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
I'm currently watching 2 seasons of it at the same time. I'm watching like I think it's season 6 now, and I'm watching season 5 as well, and I feel like they make it up so there's always one, because in both seasons there's like a woman who doesn't like the husband and a husband who doesn't like the wife, and then it's like, oh, what's gonna happen here? Like,
Yeah.
but it's great. The arguments are so funny. Like I love it.
I mean, I used to watch like the odd episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and that's my favourite. If I had to watch a Real Housewives, that's the one I would watch.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's awful. It's like a guilty pleasure type thing, you know. And then because my mum, it was a bit juicy. She watched it for a bit as well. We don't watch it anymore. But then I was watching Mike's Mike on YouTube. He does like essential viewing, which is like he'll review a show and show all the most iconic clips or whatever. And I can't remember if it was, I think it was The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but after I'd finished watching it. And they'd gone on a trip to Amsterdam, and the iconic Amsterdam fight, where, look, I don't know how they got some of the shots they did. Like, they must have planned some of the camera angles and stuff, because there's one of the women, like, runs away dramatic. She's, like, running,
Oh
like,
my
all
God.
flailing, and they got a brilliant shot of that. You know, like, the zoom-ins they do on reality TV? And then the best line is, this woman's, like, attacking this other woman, and she goes, "You beast." And she's like, "Beast? Beast?" And I'm like, why is that so iconic?
It is a guilty pleasure for me, like a good reality show. Like I don't seem like the kind of person that would be into that, but I am.
Yeah, you are. Many a times Lucy has watched ahead.
New season of Love is Blind this year, isn't there? Or have I made that up?
I think you're right.
Can't wait.
You know what I saw on Netflix this morning, and I was like, oh no, this
What?
again. New season of Riverdale.
Oh, another one?
Another one. I think it's next week. I'm like, first of all, when are they going to stop? They must be getting paid a lot because they are degrading themselves.
I know. The first season was alright, you know, wasn't it? Did you watch the first season?
First season, I like, like binge watched.
Yeah, I think that was good. And then from there it went downhill. I think they should have just kept it, honestly, as like a 1-season show.
They probably only planned it as one show, but it did so much better than they thought, that they were like, well, we've just got to invent something, you know? And now it's like...
Well, it's based on comics. It's based on Archie comics. But,
What?
yeah, like...
But there's no way that all that stuff happened in the comics.
No, I think... Because I feel like the comics were for, like, kids.
Yeah, because Joey on Friends loved them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, and Chandler.
Yeah.
But the musical episodes are the ones that do it for me.
But it's like...
I just can't...
Grey's Anatomy, they do random musical episodes, and they're literally the worst episode. They're awful. They're so bad.
I was not expecting that from Grey's Anatomy.
I know. Because I think a lot of the cast can sing. Like, a lot of the cast have been in musicals and stuff, but I'm just like, just because they can doesn't mean they should.
Because, like, most of the musical episodes, Cole Sprouse, that plays Jughead, he didn't sing. I was like, that is below his pay grade. Do you know what I mean? And then, like, the most recent one, I was like, oh, they've increased their budget for Jughead because he's now singing, and it's really bad. And, like,
oh, God.
I just don't understand where it's going to, like, go next.
I think I can't remember the last one I watched. Maybe it was season 2 though. No, maybe it was season 3. I can't remember.
Well, one thing I will say, right, is they literally pulled a storyline straight from the life of Pablo Escobar. Because Hiram built his own prison.
Right, yeah.
And I was like, what? That is just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't. The whole thing is just too much, and I don't want to watch it, honestly, but I will, because me and my sister watch it together.
Do you?
Yeah.
I feel like I recently I've been like, do I want to get back into it?
You don't. I mean, you do, but
Okay.
you don't. Do you know what I mean?
I do, but I don't. Well, have you seen Sabrina?
No.
I watched the original Sabrina, like the 90s
Yeah.
one. It's like my show that I watch when I'm ill because I just love it. It's wholesome and it's funny. But I think I watched the first episode of the one on Netflix because it's a Riverdale spin-off, right? Isn't it? It's like the set in the same.
It's in Greendale.
Yeah, Greendale. And it's just rubbish. Like, I just thought it was so bad. But apparently that's really good and everyone raves about it, so I don't know whether to just try that again.
Yeah. Tricky one.
Do you know what I finished this week? I finished the Crazy Rich Asians book.
Ooh, what is it? How different is it?
Very different.
Oh.
So the first half was the same. The first half, like, I didn't really notice that much difference, but there's like extra characters and characters in the film that like are really irrelevant are like big characters in the book. So, you know, the cousin that's like the film director or whatever.
Yeah.
He's a big character in the book. There's other siblings, cousins that are not in the film. His dad's not in the film, is he? But there's a big storyline with his dad in the book that he was like a doctor during like the Japanese occupation, and then they don't get engaged at the end of the book. Rachel's dad is like a big
Spoiler.
thing, and sorry,
That's okay.
Then I googled the synopsis, like the blurb for the next book, and it's them going to find Rachel's dad, which is like a big. And I was like, and it's really dark. The end of the book, like it talks about like the one-child policy in China and stuff. I was like, the film is just light-hearted, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was good, but I think they're two very different vibes. And also, Peaklin is not funny in the book.
Really?
Which I think was a great addition in the film.
Yeah. She was my favourite character.
Yeah. She's really relevant in the book, honestly.
She's like the whole... Like, the storyline wouldn't have progressed without her in the film.
No, I know. But yeah, I think they're two... Like, the film is great and the book's good, but they're not like... They don't really go together.
Different.
It's kind of weird.
Vibes.
Mm.
Actually, kind of related, I don't know. Well, it is related. Well, I'll explain. So, I watched this thing. What's it called on Netflix?
Is it Bling Empire?
Yes.
I haven't watched it yet.
watching it. I'm like halfway through like the 3rd episode or the 4th episode or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really... So, it starts off... Because the trailer was like... I was like, what is this show about? Because the woman... I don't know their names. I can't remember their names. But one of the women is like, yeah, my husband... Like, the advert is like, my husband is like 20-something generation of this family, so he would be an emperor if the dynasty was still blah, 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 blah. So my son would be next in line.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's cool, but what is it about? So I started watching it, and it's basically just a reality show in LA, right? But the show starts, and this guy's like, if you thought Crazy Rich Asians was like just a story, it's not. This is real life, and these are the Crazy Rich Asians of LA. Like, he was like, there's such a like tight-knit Asian community that all the rich Asians in LA know each other. And it's just I don't know, like,
it sounds good.
It is. I mean, yeah, I mean, some of the drama, like the woman that's married to the emperor or whatever, she just causes all the trouble so far. She's like just petty and just talking about money the whole time, and I'm like, my favourite guy is the guy that's not rich, and it's just like, you guys, this is ridiculous.
Love that.
He's
Is
just
it
friends
like-
with him.
Is it like Selling Sunset vibes?
I guess, yeah. I
A
guess.
bit.
It's like probably scripted, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because if you had fallen out with someone, you wouldn't go and have lunch with them.
No.
That
like
only
Howie.
happens in reality shows. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, oh, suddenly you're sat in in Towie, or you suddenly sat in a bar and the music is quiet enough that I can hear you. That's perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I do want to watch it though. It looks good. I remember seeing the trailer ages ago, and it was like coming soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. It's like, because they're all like they explain where every person has got their money from.
Mm.
You know, they're like, oh, she's rich because, you know, oil and like owned blah 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 oil companies, and it's like, oh, his family, he owns like every factory in China, and I'm like, what?
Oh my god. Did they film it this year, like during the pandemic, or?
No, I think it was 2019.
Right.
I mean, it must be because they're all having parties.
Yeah. I was like, have they filmed Married at First Sight this year? Because, I mean, Australia's like chilling.
Yeah.
But then it turns out it's from like 2018.
Right, yeah.
So, no.
It's crazy how long stuff is in the making for.
I know. I remember, like, I think it came out in Australia in 2019, but then it might have just taken ages for them to show it over here.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I've been watching. I haven't really watched any films recently. I haven't had the attention span for a film.
Tell you what I did watch.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my boyfriend watched Disney Plus partied
Right.
Peter Pan.
Which one?
The original.
What, the animated one?
Yeah.
Right.
Like 50s.
Okay.
So I was like, I can't remember how we got into the conversation, but he was like, yeah, I've never watched Peter Pan. And I was like, you need to watch the original before you watch all these like remakes and stuff, right? Well, I know the original's a book, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So then I was like, you don't understand, this was my childhood. Like, Peter Pan was my favourite character of all time. I dressed up as Peter Pan every day of my life just for fun.
Love that.
Yeah, I have these memories of my mum being like, what do you want to wear today? And me being like, Peter Pan costume. Like, let's get on it, come on. So I was like, we need to watch the film. And then I was starting the film and I was like sending him the link and stuff. And I was like, what's this? This black screen with all this text on it. And it was a like viewer discretion notice. Like, this film has like I can't remember the wording, but this film is like insensitive and holds views and opinions that always were wrong and are still wrong now. It doesn't represent Disney's current views, but we thought it was important to keep up to spark a conversation.
Right. What's in it then?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, well, what is it? And then I was like, oh my goodness, the depiction of Native Americans is awful.
That I'd never even thought of that. That's so bad.
Well, this is the thing, because I don't remember it being that bad. I remember when I was younger talking to my dad and being like why are these like weird people? Because that's how they depict them, as like weird people, right?
Yeah.
And my dad being like, oh, it's a bit like, you know, bad or whatever. And then, but now watching it back, I didn't realise how bad it was. Watching it back now, they think that someone's been kidnapped or something, and they're like, don't worry, they're stupid, like we can, like, to the Lost Boys, John or whatever, it's like,
oh my God.
they're stupid, we can ambush them, as they're being ambushed by Native Americans. And then they're like, oh, they tie all the Lost Boys up, and they're like, we're gonna burn them at the stake. And he's got like the hat on, and he's speaking in gibberish, like it's not an indigenous language, it's just gibberish.
Yeah.
And he's doing fake sign language and going like blowing raspberries and stuff as part of his sign language. And me and Adam were like, oh no. I was like, oh, this is so bad.
Well, even
bad.
I feel like it's something still that just goes unchallenged a lot of the time. Like, there was the football team, wasn't there, in America? I can't remember what they're called, but they had to change their name this year because it's offensive to indigenous people.
Isn't one of the American football teams like the logo is like a Native American person, but in like stereotypical like hat and stuff?
It might be that one. I feel like it is like something that's still, you know, like, because there's, especially in America, there's so few like Native American communities still exist because the Americans killed them all, basically. The settlers killed like indigenous people, and I just feel like it's something that's like a lot of media doesn't.
You know, the settlers bought the land of Manhattan for like $16.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, did they have currency then? I don't know. I was like, that's a bit of a weird fact, but like apparently, basically they bought it cheap. Do you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
And then they just built New York.
Wow.
There was this whole thing that Alcatraz was built. I was telling my dad the other day, it was built on like Native American ground. Well, it's all Native American ground, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then when they stopped using it, and it was just this empty building sat there, this like Native American community were like to the council, whatever, like, can we move in? Can we just live in Alcatraz?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, sure, we're not using it. It's just like a stupid island or whatever. and then they made like this thriving community, and they were like having the best time of their lives because it was like isolated and they were away from, you know, white people.
Yeah.
And then so all these Native American people from like surrounding areas like came and were moving in, and it was amazing. And then basically the government or whatever were like, oh, we don't like, they're getting along too well there, so they like evicted them.
What?
So there's this whole like period of time where Native Americans were living in Alcatraz and no one knows.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know, like I've read, there was a BuzzFeed video on it.
Well, I feel like even, like, there was a big thing, one of the bad things that Obama did was approve the Keystone Pipeline, or whatever it's called, or the Dakota Pipeline, which basically destroys indigenous land.
Yeah.
And then Trump carried on with it, but I think Obama, like, basically approved it. And, like, my diss is on, like, how basically environmental groups, like, think they're doing the right thing by putting, like, wind turbines and stuff into indigenous communities, but actually it's just, like, neocolonialism. Like, it's just another way of imposing stuff that indigenous people don't want and taking their land.
Wasn't one of the first things Biden did was, like, he's, like, going to try and retract it?
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really seen that much about Biden, to be honest. I haven't been keeping up with it very well.
I saw that he's already said he's going to join the Paris Agreement again.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And then...
the World Health.
Yes. Yeah, World Health as well. And he's signed, like, a load of executive orders. I don't really know what an executive order is.
It's, like, only affects people that work for the government.
Oh.
So, basically, you can be, like, to people who work in, like, the driving agency in Alabama, like, Trump could have been like, you cannot give anybody a license who is a woman, for example, and then because they work for the government, they have to stick to it.
I see.
And then, but if you don't work for the government, you don't have to, basically.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Because apparently you signed one to try and like, halt all progress on the wall.
Good.
And then one to try and stop the Keystone Pipeline.
Yeah.
So, this is the thing, I remember seeing a tweet ages ago, and it was like, people be like, why weren't you picking up Obama when he was doing things wrong? And he was like, because I was 10.
Yeah, I know.
And that's the thing, like, I'm not overly aware of, obviously I know bad stuff that he did, but, like, I don't know. Because that was the thing, that was the other thing, is like, I wasn't aware when Obama was in office of politics and stuff, but then I only really got into it because it was so, like, sensational when Trump came in and stuff, that I then got into it. So then I was even more aware than I would have been. But yeah. But just to round off, I think there are 6 movies that have this warning on.
Right.
On the Disney.
Let me guess. Can I
Plus.
guess them?
Yes.
Okay. Aristocats.
Yes. And you already know one, Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Let me think. Because I'm not big on Disney. You know I'm not big on Disney.
Okay.
Pocahontas?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't think. Cinderella?
No. So, Lady and the Tramp.
Okay.
Because of the cats.
Right. Yeah.
And Dumbo.
Right, I've heard about that, yeah.
Yeah. And then... But the only film that... There are a few films that aren't on Disney, but, like, the one they took off because it was just, like, too insensitive to even be on the site was Song of the South.
The what?
Song of the South, have you heard of that?
No.
It was a film that Disney did, and I think they were trying to, like, they were trying to send some kind of message about racism, but basically it was completely off, and it was completely racist, basically. So they took that off.
When was it from? Like the 20th century, or was it, like, recent?
Yeah, 20th century.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Lady and the Tramp, Aristocats, Dumbo, Jungle Book.
Right,
Peter
right.
Pan.
Makes sense.
Right. King Louis. Okay, that makes sense, actually.
Well, I just feel like Walt Disney was quite a dodgy guy in general. Like, I'm pretty sure...
It hurts me, but I know.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
It's good they're putting those warnings on, though, because when we were young, I feel like there wasn't anything... Even that's, like, 20 years ago? Less than 20 years ago, there wasn't anything like that.
I know.
And it didn't go challenged or anything.
Yeah, I know. It's like, that's the thing, because, when you're young, you don't assume, well, you don't even pick up that people are being racist, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
those crows in Disney, I just thought they were singing a cool song. Like, I didn't realise. And then when I was older, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing, Disney films are for kids, aren't they?
But even, like, I always watched James Bond films when I was younger. And even when I was in my, like, mid-teens and stuff. And then I watched, before Christmas, I was, like, watching, because we've been at home, I was, like, watching a few of them. And if you ask me what my favourite James Bond is, I'll probably say, like, one of them is Live and Let Die. And I watched it before Christmas because I haven't seen it since I was, like, 14, 15. And it's so bad. It's awful. It's, like, really offensive. And now I'm like, no. But I just feel like when you're, like, 14, 15, you don't... Do you know what I mean? Like, I didn't pick up that was what it was like. Like, it's really bad.
Anyway, should we move on to something lighter? We haven't actually talked about uni stress.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the main topic, seeing as we've just rambled for half an hour. But, yeah, I feel like it's a difficult time to be a final year right now. Like, I feel like before you go to uni, you don't have this, you pick 5 unis, or you do an apprenticeship or a job, or you don't go to uni, you go travelling, whatever. And there's not, like, that much choice, really. You just pick 5 unis. But then when you get to the end of uni and you have to pick what you want to do next year, it's, like, kind of unlimited, and it's hard to decide. It's hard to narrow down. And, like, I'm worried about... I don't want to waste my money on a master's. I mean, obviously, I know you get a loan for it, but I don't want to build up another £12,000 worth of student debt and then not be able to get a job from that, or not like the course. I'm, like, really worried about making the wrong decision. How do you think? Do you agree? Do you think that? I know
it's weird. There are, like, 2 very different camps, right? There's, like, people that are, like, university is so much more accessible than it used to be, that you have to get a degree, otherwise you've got no chance of getting a job. And then the other group of people that are like, it's outdated, you don't need a degree to get a job. And I'm like, that's confusing. First of all. And then masters is, like, even more. You're like, well, is it necessary?
I know.
Is it, how much harder is it going to be? Because no one talks, everyone at A-levels is like, there's a bigger step up from GCSE to A-level than there is from A-level to university. Which I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that. So I'm like, how much of a jump is it going to be if I decide to do a master's? No one tells me. And it's also different. Every master's is so different. It's, like, impossible to tell.
Exactly.
And then they're all they all charge different amounts of money, and I'm like, what does that mean?
I know.
Should I be looking at that? Well, obviously I look at it, but... And then no one helps you at all how to apply.
Oh, the different stuff that each job, grad scheme, uni demands, it's, like, so overwhelming, isn't it?
Well, I'm looking at this one course, right? And it's like, if you have a portfolio, send it in. And I'm like, a portfolio of what? This is a psychology master's.
I don't get what they want from that.
I'm like, because there's, like, computer stuff involved. So I'm like, what, do you want me to, like, make a website or something? Like, I'm so confused what you're asking me to do. I'm like, I've never made a portfolio. I don't do creative subjects.
Yeah, that's weird.
What do you want? They're like, if you want to send it in, and I'm like, well, that you're not giving me actual choice, are you? Because you're going to expect me to send one in.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
That's the thing as well. With UCAS, it was an easy application form that everybody knew exactly how to fill in. For the masters ones, there's so much that can go wrong. There's so much that, like, have I done this right? Am I supposed to do this? What am I supposed to put for this? Like, it's just, it is a lot to deal with.
And trying to find the information is literal a maze.
Yeah.
Looking around at the UCL website, I'm like, just give me the page that tells me this is the standard procedure.
The UCL website is really hard to use, isn't it?
I'm like, I don't even know where I am. Yeah, I'm like, have I been on this page before? Have I seen that tree before? Like, I don't know.
Also, like, the grad scheme stuff, it's hard to know whether the ones that say graduate scheme, first of all, do they mean from a master's? So you've already got a master's, you've already got this qualification, you've already got experience, or do they mean from an undergraduate? The ones that don't say it, I'm like, is this job for me? For me? Or is it for someone that's got, like, 20 years of experience? Like, it's just hard to know what to apply for and stuff. I don't know.
I know. You'd think the uni as well, because until people I know started applying for grad schemes, I didn't really know they were a thing, right?
Right, yeah.
So why don't the uni have some kind of I don't know, some kind of information out there, like, these are all the things that you should be looking out for in term 1 of year 3. Like,
I
you
know.
should be planning this, thinking about this, looking at these places, these take a lot of students. Why? There's nothing like that. They have all these fairs, which is all for careers, but they're all like, oh yeah, come back to us when you've got blah blah blah. And I'm like, how do I get blah blah blah?
Exactly.
How do I get to that point in my life?
I didn't realise that stuff would close soon as well. Like, I've already missed the deadline for loads of stuff because I didn't know it was going to be so soon. And I do feel like the uni should give, like, this is when you should be looking, this is when you should be doing this, but they don't.
Exactly. Because I missed all the open days for masters and stuff are all in like June, July, August.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, should I have gone at the end of second year?
I guess we should have, but there was a pandemic going on.
And also no one told us. No one told us, oh, you should be going to virtual open days. You should be getting, like, what? When I was in sixth form, I was getting all these little messages from all these unions, all these little prospectuses through the door.
I know.
Where's my prospectus, UCL? Huh? Nothing. I get a PDF format, that's all I get.
It's just, like, a lot as well with, like, this and essays. It's just, final year is no joke. It's serious stuff.
I got into year 3 and I thought, wow, this is some serious stuff. No one's going to get that reference.
No, it's a Gemma Collins reference for anyone that isn't enlightened enough to get it.
Get that fire exit door, I'm out.
It's just like, I think it's hard as well because we're not seeing people. Like, in normal times we would be, you know, like, seeing other people at uni communicating, like, oh, how's this going? But now it's just like, no, you are on your own.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, it's not. There's this thing as well, like we mentioned earlier, that I feel like it's got worse for our generation. It's even worse because of social media. That it's like, if you haven't got your dream job straight out of uni and you haven't bought a house by 25 and you haven't got, like, a dream car, then what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
But then it's just like, well, first of all, we're graduating into a recession, which is fun. Second of all, it's like, well, most people, if you get your dream job when you're like 23, what have you got to aim for?
Also, social media makes it look like everyone knows what they want to do.
Yeah, it does.
I do not know what I want to do for my career. And I was like, literally, I remember freaking out about this before going to uni and stuff. Because I was like, I'm only doing psychology because I enjoy it. Like, I don't actually know what I want to do. And my dad's like, literally, but you're spot on. Just do what you want, like, what you enjoy. He was like, do you think I knew what career I was going to have when I was 18? Or even when he graduated?
Yeah, exactly.
He just, like, happened to find something that he liked to do. And then it just, I don't know, he didn't set out going, I want a career in this. Which is great if you know that you want to do that. But I feel like social media's like, what's your 10-year plan? And I'm like, I'm just thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow. Like,
I find, like, journalism Twitter is the worst thing for me ever. Like, it's like, every day it's like, I got my dream commission today. Like, I got this. I've got 700 commissions this month. Like, catch my article in Independent, in Guardian and stuff, and it's just like, why am I not getting all this? Like, you know, it's hard. I feel like it's really easy to compare yourself to what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past you didn't have that as much because you weren't constantly bombarded with other people's successes.
Yeah, I know, that's it. Just like, also all these influencers and stuff that just have their kids so young. And first of all, I want to be mature enough that I'm not going to give my kid a stupid name. I don't know. Did you see that TikTok? And it was like boy names but on girls, and it was like Richard.
Oh
Did you see
God.
that?
No.
They just got stock images of babies, and they were like, this one's Richard, this one's Gregory, and I was like, you can't name a little girl Gregory. The poor girl. I don't know. Because they're like, yeah, cool. Names don't have to be gendered, but Richard, really?
I don't know, I think it'll be interesting because obviously last year's graduates graduated in a similar situation to what we're going to be graduating into, but I feel like things will maybe change a bit because over the past few years everyone's graduated into like alright circumstances, but as everybody's graduating and struggling the same, I feel like it might become less pressured. I don't know.
Yeah, all these businesses going out of business and all that kind of stuff, and it's like,
I know.
I'm like, does that mean that there's going to be, like one door closes, 10 open? Does that mean that there are going to be 10 new industries or businesses that I can just like jump in on the way up? Do you know what I mean?
Right, do you know what? Very niche. I know not many of our listeners are from Tamworth. We have at least 5 Costas in Tamworth already. They've shut the John Lewis in Tamworth last year. Do you know what they're building there? Another Costa.
Stop.
There's a Costa over the road. There's another one 2 minutes down the road. There's another one 5 minutes down. There's literally so many Costas in Tamworth. Like, there's enough for at least everybody that lives in Tamworth.
That's
there's
so
enough
weird.
for everyone to have a Costa to themselves. There's that many.
See, this is why people start making conspiracy theories when you have that many Costas all that close to each other. Like mattress shops in America.
Really?
There's a conspiracy theory that mattress shops are fronting and they're actually laundering money because no one goes into them, but there's 3 on the same street.
That's the Costas in Tamworth.
That's the Costas in town.
It's ridiculous though. Like, I don't even like Costa coffee. It's awful.
Yeah. The road that my secondary school was like connected to, I'm not joking, there were, I don't know, maybe 8 estate agents.
That's weird. They all tend to be next to each other though, aren't they? Like, normally.
What's with that? It's so weird. It's like that road on Leamington. There's about 10 on that one road.
I know.
It's really odd. I'm like, do you all like being close to each other?
I guess.
I guess if it's on a main street, you want people to walk past.
Yeah, and also, I suppose if you look, because it's not like they can all sell the same properties, so if you look at one window, don't see any, like, go to the next one, don't see any, you know what I mean? Like, it's you can just get each other's customers, can't you?
Yeah. Also, there are a lot of dentists on that road as well.
Yeah, that's true.
What is it with dentists being in converted houses, like semi-detached houses? Could you imagine living next door to a dentist?
I know! That's the same in
What
the
is
one I
that?
go to. It's like someone's house.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know why I said
I
that
know.
so loud. No!
It's true though. It's like one of those weird things that
Yeah.
once you notice, you're like, what? Because you wouldn't go and see a dermatologist in someone's back garden, would you?
No. Mind you, a lot of people I know have, like, nail salons in their sheds. Like, they've, like, converted their shed into, like, a nail bar, which I think is a great idea, to be honest.
Person that used to do my eyebrows, it was in her converted garage.
Really? That's cute. I haven't had my eyebrows done in getting on for, like, a year and a half at this point.
I know, same. She doesn't do it anymore either. She's not like, she's okay, like, she's not like out of a job kind of a thing, but she's just like, yeah, I'm just not going to do it for I don't know how long because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it setting up the business for 2 weeks and then having to close again.
That does make sense.
But I was like, yeah, but my eyebrow. Because she was amazing. I think it's like sugaring. Because I think I was allergic to the hot wax.
Oh my god.
Because I always used to be...
Are you a wax person then?
Oh yeah.
Right.
I'm scared of tweezers.
Are you not a threader?
Oh, no.
That's what I have.
I've heard that's like the most painful option.
It's so painful, but the wax used to, like, make my skin really itchy and, like, spotty around my eyebrows.
Maybe you're allergic to the wax.
Oh.
Because I don't know if I was allergic to the wax or she put tea tree on.
Right.
So I think maybe I was allergic to the tea tree. It's more likely. But
Right.
the woman that I used to go to, she's like friends with my mum.
Mm-hmm.
She like sugared. It was like this pink. It was like wax, but then it like hardened.
Really?
It was like plastic, and then you just, and it's not as painful.
Mm.
And I literally would be red for like half an hour, and then it would be gone.
That's good.
Yeah.
What I like about the threading is that it's like there's not anything going on your skin really, is it?
Mm.
You know, it doesn't make you feel like I remember we used to have it waxed, like it used to be sore for days afterwards, but then with it is painful, don't get me wrong, the threading, like, it's really painful, but it's like, I don't know, it's fine afterwards and stuff.
Well, you know, they say it's more painful if you have it done in a while.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I'm like stressed because it's been...
I'm gonna cry.
I'd never wait a year, would I? I've forgotten what it's like. I saw like a picture of myself like 2 years ago and I was like, oh my god, I had my eyebrows done then.
No, mine is
I was like,
so
I didn't realise how different it looked.
Because your eyebrows really do make your face, don't they? Especially because we don't wear makeup, really.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes if they're done too thin, I'm like, whoa, that's me like off my radar for like 2 weeks.
When I was like 13, 14, like people at school used to say stuff about my eyebrows. So I overcompensated and then I had like my eyebrows started halfway across my eye.
Oh god.
I'll see if I can find a picture to send you. It's funny.
Well, it's like weird, wasn't it? Like the switch, like skinny eyebrows used to be the in thing, and everyone would be like, "Well, you got like bushy," even though mine aren't that bad. Like yours are more bushy than mine.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, a few
It's
years
cool,
ago,
isn't it?
bushy
Cara
brows are in.
Delevingne. Cara Delevingne
Now
and Lily
you've got
Collins.
soap brows. I know. And I was like, listen, I'm on trend now. Like,
I know. And they haven't gone out of style, have they? So
no,
who's the real winner?
I know. Wouldn't catch people that shave their eyebrows. I know they do it because they're good at makeup, but I could just, even if I got good at makeup, I could not.
No. If it's just like, do you wake up in the morning with no eyebrows then?
Yeah. Do you think Jeffree Star's had them lasered off?
I don't know.
Or do you think he just like shaves them every now and then?
But I feel like he was bougie enough to have them lasered off.
I think so.
Well, people have them like tattooed on, don't they?
Oh yeah. That's crazy. Do you think they do it so that when they grow back, it's like they're always underneath?
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want to.
No. Different place. 2 sets of eyebrows.
Oh god.
I saw again another TikTok that was like people that have been cancelled. Like the girl, it was obviously like girls at uni and they were all dressed up as people that have been cancelled, and the James Charles outfit was so iconic. It was like a hoodie and like thigh-high boots. I was like, could be also, Ariana, could be.
I was going to say, put a wig on and then you're Ariana.
I know. When's that thing you sent me? The Ariana, Megan Thee Stallion, and...
It's out.
Is it?
It's out.
I'm so behind.
You need to listen to it, it's good.
Okay.
Doja, like, sang her verse on live before Ariana released the album, so nobody knew, because she sung a bit of the chorus, and nobody knew what she would... They were like, oh, is this like a new song? What is this? And then I saw the clip of her on YouTube, and then, so I already, once then... it had been released, like the album, not the remix. So then I was like, oh my goodness, I know what her thing's going to be. I know what her verse is going to be. But then when it was actually in my ears, I was like, wow.
Okay, I will listen to it. I haven't been very, like, up with music. I haven't really kept up with it.
You need to watch, I forgot I forgot to mention this to Alex, but I'm sure she's seen it. The Doja Cat Sweetie Best Friends video. Oh my god. I was overwhelmed because Doja Cat's just featured, right? But she's in every single because it's about best friends.
Aww.
So they're like they photoshopped a picture of them together when they were kids.
That's cute.
To make it more authentic. And then my favourite outfit, because obviously I've got lots of different outfits. My favourite outfit is the Gucci one. Because this is how good Sweetie looked, right? Because you know how much I love Doja. I was like, I prefer Sweetie to Doja Cat. Like, she had green. It was like forest green. Like, what even was it? Like bra, like pants.
Yeah.
Thigh-high boots.
Wow.
Little jacket.
Oh, love that.
With like hot pink Gucci logo with hot pink hair and like really heavy blush. And I was like, what? Oh, the only thing is her nails were probably 6 inches long.
Oh my god.
And she was like, yeah. She was like, they're all the boys are calling us. She's like, whoa. And I was just like, yeah.
Wow.
So, have you got anything to recommend this week?
I started reading, I feel like I've seen a lot of like YouTubers and people on the internet reading this book called, I think you might have heard of it because it's kind of psychology-y. It's called Think Like a Monk, or How to Think Like a Monk, or something, or How to Live Like a Monk, something like that.
Oh, interesting.
It's by this guy Jay Shetty, I think his name is, and he's quite young, and basically he like went to uni and stuff, and then just decided to like go and be a monk, and then they were like, no, go and spread the word of the monks to the world, and now he like basically like teaches people how to live better and stuff, and it's like how to live peacefully and remove negativity and stuff like that. So I've only read
Is he like Buddhist?
I don't know. He said something about it like not being about any religion.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not really sure. Like, he doesn't seem like a proper monk, but...
Is he like a shaman?
Well, no, I mean, he's a normal guy. He's got like tattoos and he's got kids and stuff.
But, oh.
So I don't think I think he said, so basically he went to like City Uni in London, and then every summer he would go to, I can't remember this place in India where the monks are, and then he basically realised he enjoyed that more than like internships and stuff. Then when he finished uni, I think he
Yeah.
said he went there for like a few years. But I don't think he was like actually like a proper monk. But
Right.
I think he like learnt from him. And then, yeah, I've only read one chapter, but it seems like it's good vibes. Because I don't really like,
Interesting.
I don't like self-help books. I've never been a fan of self-help books. But the minute I'm just like, give me all the help I can get.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you?
Haven't done anything new, that's the issue.
Have you watched anything new? New TV shows? Anything?
Just the Bling thing.
Mm.
But I don't know if I'd recommend that.
Yeah.
Because they're so superficial that I'm like, is this good for my brain?
Yeah, I get you.
Because they're so like,
Mm.
oh, it's not Dior, I'm not wearing it.
Oh dear, okay.
They were like, oh, we're going to go shopping today. And I was like, oh, see the LA shops, this will be good. They flew to Paris to have a shopping trip and then
What?
flew back. Yeah.
Oh dear,
Yeah.
okay. Bad vibes.
Bad vibes. Really toxic relationship as well.
Oh dear. Have you got any music you could recommend?
Oh, I'll tell you what I did watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Machine Gun Kelly released like, obviously his album released ages ago, but he released like a video. It was like a music video, but it was for the whole album, so it was like a visual album thing, but there was like speaking and acting in the middle.
That's cool.
And I'm pretty sure it was the main guy was a TikToker.
Okay.
So I was like, I vaguely recognise him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it might be Little Huddy, but like, because I saw a song, Little Huddy, and I was like, why is that getting recommended to me? And I was like, oh, is that the same guy? But I don't know, so don't quote me on that.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a depressing storyline.
Mm.
Like, I wouldn't recommend watching it unless you like his music, because it's the whole album in a video.
Okay.
But it was just really cringy.
Was it?
Because you can just tell the main guy's not an actor.
Right, right.
So it's fine when he's just like walking around or whatever, but then when he's like speaking, or he like, the storyline, he like starts a band, so he's like performing MGK's song while it's playing.
Mm-hmm.
But he just hasn't got the same thing, because then it's this story, but then also MGK's like doing music videos at the same time, so it's cutting between like this storyline but then him performing it. But it is quite clever how it's done, like he'll be on the TV or like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's this bit where Machine Gun Kelly's performing it, and then this guy's performing it, and I'm like, Machine Gun Kelly's just got it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, he's a performer, so it takes you out of it, because you're like, well, he's not as good as he is.
Right, right.
So save your time, don't watch it.
Oh, for God's sake.
If you enjoy this music, then yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But don't watch it just for Little Huddy, because he's not, you know.
If we have any Machine Gun Kelly fans.
I don't think we do.
You never know.
Thing.
Have you eaten anything new?
No.
No.
The only thing I would say is just the new Doja Cat features.
That's good.
That's all I have.
Did I? No, I didn't talk about the Papa John's chicken on here, because I had it after the episode last week.
Straight after.
So it's like, they call it like chicken bites or something, I think. You get a good portion, I'll say that. But they cut them way too thick. Vegan, I don't know if I said they're vegan, but yeah.
Nuggets.
They're more like dippers, like fake chicken dippers.
Got it.
But they cut them really, really thick. Like, there was bits of them that I was like, that is literally like as thick as like a burger bun.
Right.
Like, bits of them were like that thick, and I just think they'd cut some of them a bit too thick. But texture was very much like corn nuggets. It was very much a corn nugget situation. Alright, you have to cover it in a lot of dip for it to taste alright, because it's a bit rubbery. But I would have them again. Not anything to write home about, but alright.
Interesting. I watched Olivia Neal's vegan
I did.
review. That was funny. I know, she was like, just get an old car and wrap it. I was like, what does that even mean?
It's like basically getting a whole new exterior.
Oh, is it not just like a paint job?
No, it's like, they don't paint it. I think they like literally wrap it in like metal.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So it is a different colour. It's not just like painted.
I see. Oh, I see. That's interesting. So if they scratched it, it wouldn't be the old colour underneath.
No.
That's insane.
I
What?
know. It's like thousands.
Because yeah, she was like, oh, you're following Instagram if you're getting your car wrapped. I was like, who's getting their car wrapped?
I know. Yeah, what did she try? The thing from Subway didn't look that good. I want to try I still haven't tried the like fake meatball thing, but I do want to try that.
Thing is, you don't like Subway though.
No, I know. I wouldn't ever like go.
So
I've
you
only had
wouldn't-
one in my life, haven't I? So
Yeah. Oh, I crave it. There's one literally 5-minute, 10-minute drive away.
Yeah.
And Just Eat delivers stuff from like the Chinese shop next door, like the Chinese takeaway next door, but not from the Subway.
No, that's
And I'm mad
sad.
because I just want my chicken tikka.
She tried the vegan burger from KFC. I do want to try that, but I haven't tried it yet. And then I've had the veggie wrap from McDonald's in the past, but again, nothing to write home about. Like, it's alright.
My sister always gets the veggie deluxe burger.
Yeah.
But I think they've taken it off the menu, or it was temporarily off the menu or something.
I had it at the one near me, so I think it's still on. Like,
Right.
I had it like the week before Christmas. No, a few weeks before Christmas. Like,
Okay.
but yeah. Well, thank you for listening, everybody.
Make sure you keep up with us on all our social media, and have a nice week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.